hopefully this is still correct, Mrs. Tasha Penner. And her speech will be on, Oh, the Places You'll Go.
All right.
Thank you.
For my part, I travel not to go anywhere, but to go. I travel for travel's sake. The great affair is to move. By Robert Louis Stevenson. We all travel from here to there, from work to home, from home to work, from this country to another, from childhood to adulthood, from a state of ignorance to enlightenment. We are constantly in transition. For an effective journey, there are many things that contribute. Attitude, money, where you're going, how you pack. But today we're going to talk about preparation. Preparation is the fundamental cornerstone of a successful excursion. And so let me tell you how to prepare for a successful journey. There are 3 parts to preparation. It will be 2/3 visualization and 1/3 backup. As the 2/3 visualization is allowing and preparing your mind for the journey. So to begin with, I recommend an outline. I know it sounds nerdy, but an outline will allow you to develop a skeleton of your ideas. It will allow the framework for everything else to come onto it. It provides boundaries. Once you have it down in writing, you put down what you know so that you can add to what you don't know. If you are going to have a budget, this would be the time when you would start outlining that budget as well. By listing your knowns, you can identify any gaps. You're going on spring break, so you have 1 week. You have to take the kids, but you have to leave the dog. You want to get a master's degree, 4 years. You have kids, a spouse, and a job, but you want to get done in 4 years. You can only work afternoons or evenings, and you have to pay for it yourself. It allows you to scope out the effort. This is followed by one of my actual favorite parts, research. The reason that is one of my favorite parts is because I'm pretty good at research. I love looking stuff up. Even if I don't use it, I learn something new, which is why I enjoy the research. This fills in the outline. It starts allowing you to answer questions such as, do I need my passport? What should I pack? What's the weather going to be like? What's the transportation going to be like? Are there going to be ATMs? Do I need a translator? How am I going to get there? Who all is going? Is there accessibility? Don't get overwhelmed because there's always so much information on websites, books. Instead, parse it out. When you get a book, you don't have to read the whole thing. Look at the index. Look at the table of contents. Just find the pieces that are relevant to you. And at this point, during the second phase of your preparation, it's a great point to stop and pivot where necessary. Are there too many questions? Do you have too much information? Maybe you should just go on a cruise where they tell you what time to be there and what you're going to do next. Is that too much of an information? Fine, go to a resort. You arrive on this day and you leave on this day. Everything else is beaches and eating and drinking. It allows you that customization. On my journey towards the altar, I started with my outline. I was going to be married in Wichita in a chapel. I was going to have maybe 100 people, and I wanted fall because I love fall colors. As I did my research, I started learning more and more things about how to prepare for a wedding. Some of the surprising things that I learned were related to family drama. Turned out my mom was not going to come to my wedding if I had it in a chapel because it wasn't her church. Random, right? Who knew? Time to pivot. You know what? I'm paying for the wedding myself. It might as well be exactly what me and my husband want. Re-outlined. Now it's in New York City. You can come if you want. It's going to be outside, and I still want fall colors. That led to my research, right? Fall colors. Well, if it's going to be outside, that gives it a 2-week window. I found exactly when those 2 weeks were available. I looked at the previous 10 years' weather data to make sure that I had the least likely chance of rain or snow on my day. It turned out beautiful. It was fantastic. Which brings us to the last part, backups. Always save your work. If you ever went to school, you know to save your work and put it in backups. You want your soft copies, put it on your phone, in an app, in your emails. You want your itinerary, you want your confirmation numbers. And something that you may not have thought of is you want a copy of your passport. I have an app that's secured by a password, plus my phone secured by a password. I have a digital version of my passport on there for international trips. Hard copies. Make sure someone at home has a copy of your passport. Make sure that you print out all of your confirmation numbers, all of your travel itineraries. Digital will fail on occasion. Always have 2 copies of everything. Soft copy, hard copy. You won't regret it. Don't pull out your hard copies in public. Your hard copies should be tucked away. You are not a hillbilly yokel waving your map around. Google has the ability to save offline content so that you can pull up a map for a localized area and without using any data. Awesome if you're internationally traveling. So finally, in conclusion, I want to leave you with the idea that while there are many contributing factors to a smooth trip, effective preparation will help you visualize with an outline, with research, and with backup. And I'm going to leave you with a little snippet from one of my favorite authors, Dr. Seuss. Out there, things can happen, and frequently do, to people as brainy and footsy as you. And when things start to happen, don't worry, don't stew, just go right along. You'll start happening too.